Okay, everyone, welcome in. Jocks and Jills. A lot to talk about today, I would say. This episode of Jocks and Jills, we've decided is brought to you by the Jillies, our own version of the PWHL Awards, which we will be handing out after the real PWHL Awards on an episode of this very show, guys. So stay tuned for the Jillies. We have lots of ridiculous ideas, of course. How we doing? It's been a week since we talked. Tess and Julia here. A lot has happened. We didn't talk to you guys since the exclusive signing period has happened. We kind of wished you all farewell, and we were wondering if both teams were going to sign all 5 of their 5 players, or maximum of 5 players that they were allowed to sign during the exclusive signing period. Spoiler alert, they both did, and we'll get into the exclusive signing period. We will get into the expansion draft and all the feelings around it, because I know fans of original inaugural 6 PWHL teams, you guys are kind of hurting. Some of your faves went out the door, but also really exciting time in women's hockey. Exciting time to be us too, because it's Buckles' birthday today, Tessa.
Happy birthday to
Happy birthday, Buckles. Buckles, can you come in here right now? Because I feel like even though lots happened during the expansion draft, even though huge names moved, even though it was a great night for hockey, I don't think the chat went crazier at any point than when it went when you came onto the screen looking like a press secretary for Jocks and Jills. Happy birthday, Buckles. We love you. 26, guys. We appreciate this girl so much.
Thank you guys so much. Yeah, no, the comparisons I've gotten are unbelievable, but I think press secretary was my favorite.
I love that.
Yeah.
Were there other good ones?
Yeah, I just got very well done reporters, just in suits and stuff. I didn't know I looked so professional. And I just want to put Harvard, it on note now that year 26 is the year of the diva for me. So just expect some changes. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
Hair down days? What is diva? We call one another diva every day. I feel like every year is the year of the diva for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I found it to be a whole other experience last night. And yeah, maybe I'll really assume that role. Be a princess this year.
I don't know if it was the suit. I think it was the glam. The makeup was perfect. Our girl Alicia did us all up. She did us all a favor. We didn't know we could look like that. Julia and I forgot. We're used to getting our face painted when
I actively thought I was getting uglier recently, and I was like, oh, I just haven't had full glam in a while.
Yeah. She makes you feel so good and confident. Then she gave you the blowout with the hair and the curls for the girls. I felt like when you were done, it was just a whole different aura of Buckles floating around. But all that said, after everything was said and done, Buck and I went out for a beer and just to celebrate her birthday a little bit, maybe some wings and some French fries. And the bun was immediately thrown back in. And my hair was tied back because we were just like, hey, that was a long day. We're both sweaty.
Yeah, so, when your hair's touching your face after a long day, it's like,
when there's wings involved and fries, you're not going to have the hair down. You got to get,
it's true.
Everything pulled back.
Wings are a hair up kind of food. Also, guys, we didn't Force Buckles to get into glam. Some of the comments were like, guys, you can't make up Buckles. Don't we didn't make her do that.
Yeah,
Buckles also fully volunteered. One day Buckles was randomly like, it would be so fun if you guys gave me a makeover during the live streams. This was not
wait, I did not see those comments. Yeah, guys, let's
guys,
let
we
it be
didn't tie
noted.
her up and put the makeup on. I swear we didn't try to girly Buckles. We love Buckles, how she is on a day-to-day basis.
You see me handcuffed to the chair. Yeah, that makes sense.
We just cropped that out. We didn't want everyone to know. Buckles, happy birthday. We love you so much. What are you doing for your birthday? What are the celebrations?
Nothing crazy. Spending it with you guys for the first part, which is always the best. And then I'm going to be working a Harvard hockey camp. Shout out Harvard hockey. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Okay.
Down in Boston?
No, actually here in Toronto. We're doing a little on the road prospect camp. So
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Julia, you suiting up? You going to the camp?
Well, that's just a cruel joke. That's just a cruel joke to make. That would be good content, though, actually.
It would be.
Julia, please. For my birthday gift, please.
Ooh.
Oh, we have some. What time is? No. I don't even know why I just asked. What time is it?
What time is it?
I'm not coming. I'm absolutely not. Buckles, happy birthday. Well, we'll talk more about expansion and we'll call you back in soon, okay? You have to write your press secretary addresses for the day so you can tell the masses how Tessa and I are doing and how we're feeling. How are you feeling? What's up with you, Tess?
I'm tired.
I know.
It was a late night, and obviously the wings and the one cold beverage that I enjoyed hit the spot, but it was like I was home after midnight, and obviously the kids were up, and it was just like a moment. But hey, I'm here. I got my tea. I got my cup of tea. I'm doing fine. I'm happy. I've been throwing pizza parties in the neighborhood. Milton, where I live, we've got our fresh market on Saturdays. We had Summerfest. The kids got spray-on tattoos that are still on their body somehow, face painted. Annie got she wanted rainbow braids. So she had, this woman was like braiding it's not ribbon, but strings, like rainbow colored strings into braids and doing all this fancy stuff. So that lasted maybe a day for Annie. But yeah,
she would have been
so
upset when that came out.
Yeah, summer's here and it's so exciting. Like the kids are constantly outside, which is great. And I'm outside too. And I forgot how much I love a good super soaker battle.
It's so fun. Dude. Summer and Christmas are the two things that really make you feel like a kid again somehow.
Yeah. The super soaker battles that are happening in the neighborhood, I'm out of breath and sweaty. It is game on. And the rule is you have to agree to be sprayed and you can't spray somebody else if you don't want to be sprayed.
I hate that, but yeah, get it.
Yeah. And then the kids are doing this thing where they stoosh out in the bushes and wait for cars to drive by and squirt water as the cars drive by. I don't know. I feel like I did silly stuff like that. Regardless, it's fun. It's nice seeing kids get in the pool. Yeah. Mom and dad getting in the pool, have some poolside bevies. It's just great. Sign me up. Summer, get here.
It's so nice. It's so nice. I've been loving it. Getting out golfing, getting out with Enzo, walking. Oh, Enzo's getting neutered on Thursday. That's my big update for the pod. And I'm really sad about it, guys. I wasn't expecting to be sad, but I keep looking at him I know this thing you don't know. I feel like I'm keeping a secret from him.
You are, and that's fine. However, he's already a chill dog. So not much about Enslow is going to change.
Yeah. Well, honestly, dude, the reason I was okay, we got to get this done ASAP is because he's become a little bit of a horn dog in the last 3 or so weeks and really weirds me out. I'm not cool with it. So I am a girl and I only have a sister and I don't know anything about little boys or little boy dogs. They scare me. So dad's got to bring him to the vet and get that handled. Yeah. So that's what's up in my household right now. Right, and I'm having a Chessie from, you know how Buckles just announced what her 26th theme is? Diva, Year of the Diva. Yeah. My summer theme is Chessie from Parent Trap.
Chessie?
You know,
which
the
Parent
nanny?
Trap? The OG?
I've seen both. I love them both. The Lindsay Lohan one, Chessie, the nanny at the winery. Oh, you'd love it. She's so cool. She wears denim. She wears shirts like this, denim tops. Always has a glass of wine in her hand. She's cooking. She pets the dog. She's living her life. And that's how I'm trying to be this summer.
I dig. I'll channel some of that.
Yeah, Chessie from the Parent Trap. Okay, guys, we've kept it light for long enough here. Let's get to the news and the headlines in the PWHL over the last week. The exclusive signing period. We had no idea what to expect when this opened.
I didn't.
I wasn't sure.
Clue.
And pulling back the layers of the curtains here, I don't know if anybody knew what to expect going into this.
I didn't expect what happened. I'll tell you that.
I didn't expect. I think maybe I should have expected both teams to fill all 5 slots, but I didn't expect dominoes to start dropping the second it opened.
Dude, I expected all the players that were on rosters that weren't protected. I didn't expect them to be targets. I expected okay, who is without a contract right now that you can totally take advantage of, because why not? They don't have a team. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Start talking. You haven't spent a single dime on anybody yet. And there was some there are big names left in that. And they didn't pluck from anything there.
Yeah.
It was everybody that was still on a team with a contract that they renegotiated and signed. I was like, poof, okay. I didn't think people would want to leave Minnesota, to be honest. The fact that Claire Thompson and Sophie Jakes were like, peace out, back-to-back was fun. Let's go to the West. I was like, oh my gosh, okay. That shocked me. The fact that it was both shocked me. I say, yeah, you'll probably get one. Nope.
At once, too.
So Vancouver started out strong. signing both of those defenders. Like, your defense is looking pretty gravy right now.
Yeah.
And then
so that was kind of the order. It was Claire first, the very
Yeah.
first player to sign with an expansion team in the history of the league is Claire Thompson. Sophie Jakes was announced soon after that. Seattle fans were sweating as different rumors were kind of coming about, and then they get a beauty of an announcement themselves with Hillary Knight putting pen to paper in Seattle.
Come on. What a signing. Great for Hill. I love it. There must have been conversations going on with Meghan Turner. Obviously, she's familiar with Meghan Turner, having been the assistant GM in Boston. And Meghan Turner knows what's up. I'll tell you that much. She got the job done there, and then signs Sir Dacney and Carp. I was like, whoa, this is insane. And then Caleb Barnes, she swept out from underneath Montreal. I was like, oh boy, Montreal's defense, here we go. I was like, this is danger. This is danger bay. Aaron Ambrose, you're going to be moving to the West Coast, but that's what I thought. But like I said earlier, Montreal was banking on a situation to happen. They knew Jen Gardner being the hometown girl in Van, there was obviously an appetite for a player like that. And for her, it would be exciting to go home and play in front of your hometown fans. And that didn't come till way later, though, because I was still sweating. I was sweating for Ambrose and for Montreal and their decor, because it took a while for that signing to become official. But I love that Vancouver went ahead and signed Emirates Mashmeyer. What a boss of attendee. Like, you're sitting pretty there. You're going to have a chance to win a game every night. That's what Emirates Mashmeyer does. That's what her resume says. Like, I will give you a chance to win, period. Yes, she does. And then Sarah Nurse.
Okay, we have to talk about this one, actually, because there were so many layers to this one specifically, because hilariously, as the world is melting down, a couple reports come out on, was it Friday night or Thursday night? I'm forgetting, but it was one of the two. I was out for dinner as well, and I walked by this restaurant, and it looked really cool on the outside. It was like a new opening. It had a very cool look to it. And I said to Liam as we were walking back from dinner, that place looks really cool. We should check it out sometime. I open Instagram, and isn't Sarah Nurse eating pasta on that very patio of the restaurant that I was like, that place looks sick. I answered the story, and I was like, oh my gosh, Sarah, I just walked by there tonight. That place looks so cool. Meanwhile, that photo of her eating pasta has become such a meme because she's just the most unbothered queen in the world. Queen energy only is her catchphrase, and she was embodying that as the entire internet was going crazy about the idea of her moving west. And, she was just unbothered on the patio, living her life.
Living good life. I mean, obviously there was an appetite for her to head out that way, and she liked what Cara Morey was pitching because she's beloved in Toronto. Now, look, Sarah Nurse is just going to spread her web now across country. That's a massive untapped market for her. So, and not to say that she's unknown in those parts. She's very well known in North America. Just ask Drake. And I think that it's a solid move, just a fresh start for her. I can kind of see how maybe she would have been a little bit hurt that Toronto decided to not protect her. However, she went out and got the job done herself. She was like, all right, cool. I'm going to go do something for me. And she did.
Yeah.
So I think she's going to be great out there.
Totally. I really appreciated that letter she put in TO Life and how vulnerable she was with saying how kind of scared and disappointed she was when she wasn't protected by Toronto. I loved what she said about her family taking the GO train to games and stuff and how much they're going to miss that. So such a class act. And like, Sarah Nurse is in retired number territory in Toronto somehow to me. Like, she's just such an icon in this city.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love her. Congratulations to her on this deal with Vancouver. I'm going to miss seeing Romeo walking around downtown Toronto.
There'll be tons of Romeo content, let's be real. In the new city, Romeo Roman.
That's so true.
Absolutely.
Romeo Roman, actually. If that's on his Instagram, it should be. Good idea.
Should be a hashtag.
And then the hometown girl, Tessa, Jen Gardner. This was, we had her on our podcast earlier this year. We talked to her about that game she got to play in Vancouver. You could see her eyes kind of light up when she was talking about playing in Vancouver. You know how much she loves Montreal. Like, that's, both things can be true at the same time, for sure. But wasn't surprised to see her go west and kind of spread pro women's hockey there.
It's like a Quebec-born player going to play for the Habs. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? It's an honor and it's a privilege. And that's exactly what Jen Gardner saw. And that's exactly what she pursued and earned for herself. So I think it's exciting for Vancouver and it's exciting for Jen Gardner. Like, who's going to want to produce more than her on that roster right now? Like, let's be honest. She's going to be in the starting lineup on the opening night, first puck drop. It's going to be massive. Those kids are going to be going insane for her. It's going to be a cool moment. I'm excited for her. I'm also excited for Corinne Schroeder, who signed with Seattle as obviously their top 10D. I think that was a solid signing by Seattle, just based on, the initial signings that they made. I was like, whoa, this is firepower. And now they've got a goalie that can backstop for them.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be a heavy run and gun team. It's going to be pretty cool to watch.
Yeah. Pumped to see both these teams. So to recap, Seattle signs Hillary Knight, Alex Carpenter, Danielle Serdachny, Kayla Barnes, and Corinne Schroeder. Vancouver signs Claire Thompson, Sophie Jakes, Emmerich Smashmeyer, Sarah Nurse, and Jen Gardner in the exclusive signing period. They both locked up 5 of their possible 5 spots, and that led us, Tessa, to the PWHL's first ever expansion draft that we got to host, and it was really fun.
It was a blasty blast.
It was also crazy at the same time. Like, there were so many questions going in. There were so many like possibilities of different scenarios that could happen. It was really cool to be in the building. Like, you guys could see kind of how the studio was set up. We were close by to the war rooms, and you could just feel how many possibilities all the GMs and their respective expansion team groups kind of had in place. Like, if this happens, we got to do this, and then this, and then this, and if this happens, it's going to be X, Y, and Z. Like, there were so many different scenarios,
and there were players that they wanted but couldn't because the team had already lost 4 players. So there were some ladies out there that got saved by the bell, if you will, with certain
and some
picks.
fan bases. Like, again, we know that we feel you guys. Like, we know some of your fan favorites moved teams last night, but gosh, they were a couple saved by protection and by teams already losing 4 players last night.
Yeah.
Should we just go through it? Buckles, you want to come in here and go through all the picks with us?
Would I
Thanks,
ever?
Buckles. Okay, good, because you only got to do your address in the final moments last night. Ashton Bell from the Ottawa Charge. The Ottawa Charge's blue line takes a couple hard hits in the first few moments of this draft, and it starts with Ashton Bell. We were so lucky to be looking at Buckles' face for this whole thing. She had a desk kind of over in the corner, kitty corner to us, so we got to see her. Like, her facial reactions, guys, are so good. Every time a pick was made, she would be like, "Wow, oh my gosh!" We should have just had a Buckles cam on her in the corner the whole time,
like a fisheye cam at like
it'd be reaction cam.
Yeah. Who would you guys think of Bell being the first off the board here?
It shocked me, and not because I don't think she's a good defender. I expected her to get picked, but I didn't expect her to get picked first. Did you, Buck?
No, I think we were talking about it a little bit before when looking at, the best first overall picks in our opinion. Hannah Bilka was number 1 on our list. And so when we saw that Vancouver had it, everyone was kind of holding their breath because, our predictions were, Carp, Hillary, and Bilka on a line. So we were hoping those predictions came through. But when Belsey was called, I wasn't shocked, but I think I was waiting for them to steal Bilka in that moment.
That's where I think I spoke to it before about like play a little bit dirty, like be the GM that's like making other teams worse. Like I don't know. The fact that Montreal got to keep Ambrose was huge to me. Like, I think if you can deplete a team and just put a good player on your team, why not do it? And so when Vancouver picked first overall, I'm like, they are going to ruin Seattle's dreams and they're going to snag Hannah Bilka. Because why wouldn't you do that? Why would you want to allow Bilka to go play with Carp and Niter? That's their top line. There's no coach out there that's not doing that. So that's where my shock came from, where it was like, here is a stud forward that you can have on your team that will be your top line player, and you passed on it. You already had 2 solid defenders. So that's where that was a head scratcher for me. I was like, okay, clearly I don't know what direction this draft is going to go in. Like, I am on a completely different page than both of these teams. And then Seattle goes ahead and with the second pick picks Aneta Teralova. And I was like, I have no clue what's happening here, because I was expecting that pick to be Bilka. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Is Bilka not available? What do I not know? That's where I was like, holy smokes, this is going to be cool. That was my first moment where I was like, okay, we are going down an avenue that I did not expect. I drove by that avenue. I had no idea that was even a street.
Right, because we had so many, and the production team, shout out to the production team who did the show last night. It was,
Yeah, they were
so much
wicked.
went into that. But like a lot of the players that came off the board last night, not a lot, that's a stretch, but a few of the players that came off the board last night, like there weren't highlight packs
built
prepared for, because
No.
they weren't. And you understand why they went, because now that you could see the first 12 players on each of these teams, you could kind of see the vision that both of them are building.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see like where some free agency moves could play in here, specifically with Vancouver. But yeah, it was interesting when we were sitting in the studio and the call was, okay, guys, start talking, because we don't have any video on these girls, but you understand why they were taken for sure.
But the Ottawa fans were heartbroken right away.
Feel for you, Ottawa fans.
Yeah,
Double homicide.
Solid.
You wanted to
punch.
say that so bad on the stream last night, eh?
It's so bad.
I knew it. I know. I'm like, I don't think that we could say double homicide.
Can't say that, but we can say it here.
Yeah, we're here in the safe space on the podcast.
What was the chat saying when Ashton Bell and then Teralova go? Was it just like?
I think Bellsy's such a big part of the charge. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna circle back a little bit. She absolutely should have been in contention of that first pick. She is so offensively gifted. Got snubbed from Team Canada this year, but I just feel a comeback here for this kid. And she's so defensively sound, offensively a threat. So Vancouver got a good one there. But yeah, the chat was not happy to lose her as a person in the city of Ottawa, but also to lose her in that decor. And then to just hit them 1-2 punch to take Tayrosh as well. It was there was definitely a lot of tears in the chat right away. So I felt for the Ottawa fans.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that was a solid 1-2 punch. Like they lost Bell and they didn't even have a chance to get over it yet. It was just like,
nope.
Oh no, Bell's gone. Great. What's our decor look like now? And they're like, oh, by the way, we're gonna snag Teralova too. So
yeah,
we'll just rip the Band-Aid off her.
That's what I was gonna say. There's something about ripping the Band-Aid off and getting all your players kind of snagged early, and you could like deal with your emotions for the rest of the draft.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm sorry, Ottawa fans. I feel for you guys.
Yeah, they still have Jocelyn Larocque. They still have Stephanie Markowski.
Studs.
Brianne Jenner. Like they didn't lose Brianne Jenner last night. Like that's pretty significant.
Man and McMahon. They got a bunch of studs still.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mrazova.
After that, Tessa, Brooke, and Buckles. Sorry, I just said Tessa. It's like literally a reflex. I say it in my sleep sometimes.
It's okay.
Brooke McQuigg goes after that, and Abby Murray.
No, Hannah Bilka went.
Oh, sorry, we didn't talk. I felt
That's
like you
okay.
mentioned
We mentioned Bilka, but we didn't mention that she got snagged. Then they mentioned Bilka, and I was like, okay. Vancouver, look what you did. That's where I was at. I was just like, we knew this was going to happen because I swear to you, when they discovered who was going to pick first and then who would have the 2-3 in the snake draft, immediately I was watching Meghan Turner right away and like her face dropped. And I was like, she knows she's not going to get Bilka. And now she's got to go to the board and be like, who we filling in then?
Yeah.
Who's going to play there? Or do we just have like a McDavid Draisaitl thing with, a run and gun player that's going to go get them the puck kind of thing? And right away, I'm like, oh man, she's anxious. And then I felt like Vancouver and Cara Gardner Morey made her day. And they were like, thank goodness. And I feel like they maybe played us a little bit in picking Teralova first just to get us to be
I think so too.
I loved it. They were like, just kidding. We got Bilka too. And it was like,
I wish we could see footage of the Seattle War Room when Vancouver made that first pick. We gotta get that.
So true. We should see if we could get the
Viz
unreleased tapes there.
Yeah. And then, like you said, Julia, Vancouver going right to Brooke McQuigg, and I mean, the whole thing that we talked about before, Julia, was like, okay, we're gonna figure out what kind of identity this team wants to build, because they don't have a coach yet, but you can generally get a feel. This is the type of team we have. What coach really fits this avenue of the team that I've built here? And as soon as they went Brooke McQuigg, I was like, okay, they got Nursey, they got Gardner, they got McQuigg. So this is a hardworking team that's got some skill. And you talked about it, Julia, on the broadcast. Brooke McQuigg isn't anyone you want to meet in front of the net.
No.
Because you're in for a bare knuckle boxing match, and she doesn't back down from anything. You know what I mean? And she fights and battles for every puck. My mind immediately went, okay, power play, front of the net player. So they've got that locked in. And a player that knows how to win and what type of attitude and approach you need in the locker room to be successful.
Yeah. Ken
She's a
Clay's a big
champ.
fan of her. I remember him really pumping her up before one game in Toronto. I was
for all the right reasons.
Good Bowmanville girl, gritty player, tries hard. Like I really see why Vancouver was so intrigued by her.
And she's got a big frame. Like she's a very physical player, but also has got like a good reach. It's very advantageous in puck battles. Hard to get the puck off her.
Yeah. They go to Abby Boreen after that. I know she was so well loved in Montreal. It's tough. She's got to move another time.
Minnesota.
And Minnesota maybe even more so.
Was so upset when they lost her in the draft. And then now Montreal's going to be like, oh man, we get that heartbreak.
Yeah. Did it feel like she found her full stride in Montreal? Because I don't know if I thought
there were moments.
Yeah.
There were moments. But
early though.
Yep. And we talked about it too throughout the season. I feel like sometimes players just need a little a spark or a little boost, and sometimes it's just finding a different chemistry with a new player.
Like who's your ideal person to play with other than literally Taylor Heisey, who we know that works really well.
She was great with Poulet and Stacey on their line. Like you can throw her on a top. She can literally play anywhere as long as she's got a wing wom to play with, and someone who thinks the game similarly, if you will, because she's a very cerebral, smart player, and she works really, really hard. So she's got a great shot, and she's also a playmaker, and she loves scoring goals. Like when she scores, there's a massive celly there. Like she likes that. So I felt like there was a little bit of that goal scoring love lost this season, and there was a real struggle for her to refine it. But there wasn't much line juggling happening, so I feel like there wasn't a moment for her to regain that spark and that confidence. So I think a breath of fresh air for her. I mean, look, 3 teams in 3 years, that ain't easy. That's tough. But man, what an exciting moment for her to join a new team. And she knows Brooke. Did she knows Brooke McQuaig, right? I'm going to assume she knows Brooke McQuaig.
Brooke was a rookie this year, so I don't know. I'm sure they do as Minnesota girls.
Minnesota, yeah.
No. Brooke's from Bowmanville, so I'm not sure.
I'm not sure about that.
Regardless, I made that up. Anyways, I feel like it's going to be good for her to get into a new team and then kind of rekindle new chemistry. Like we talked about on the broadcast, it's going to be interesting to see all of these new, friendships that get created on the ice, and like all of this, a different look. You're not getting the same. I mean, you are with Seattle and Knight, Carp, and Bilka. Seen that before. It's scary, but we don't know what's going to come of this new group of players that Vancouver has.
Yeah. Seattle did some serious heartbreaking with their next 2 picks in Jesse Eldridge and then Julia Gosling. What do we think here? Like this to me makes like Seattle's second line one of the most dangerous in hockey too. When you stick Serdachny there too.
Well, and look at the size of that line.
Insane. Like it's
as
scary to play against.
As a defender, you're like, I gotta deal with this.
Yeah. Seriously, and they're not just hard, big bodies to play against. They're very skilled.
Yes, like so 2 heavy shots. Julia Gosling and Jesse Eldridge are like
great shots.
Underrated shots. Both of them somehow to me. Like I cannot wait to see these 3 go. I'm just excited, and I'm saying these 3. I'm obviously talking about Serdachny as a third player. Like I'm just excited to see Seattle. Just as excited about Seattle's second line as I am about their first.
And you could tell exactly what Meghan Turner was doing after these picks. You knew what the process was that she was going through. She knew exactly what was up. She got the back end taken care of, took Terrell over right away. Okay, we got our 2 solid defenders back there that have an offensive flair. Let's build out our top lines. Because in this league, she knows you need to score goals to win. And these goalies are too good. So you need to literally front load your team on offense. And so she went right away and built her second line. She already had Serdax locked up. So then she was like, cool. How do you like Eldridge? How do you like Gosling? And they're probably like, bonus. Like that fact that their top 2 lines that she built out, there's no way they weren't laughing in there. They're like, look what we did. And it's great. And this is going to be a tough team to play against. But what I like about it is it's going to force teams to play a playoff style hockey when they face them, because you're going to need to shut down that top line. So immediately Gabby Hughes and Otto was like, I know my assignment. Been there, done that before. I know what it's like. And so it's going to force teams now to play chess, not checkers, right? You can't run and gun this team. you have to strategically play this team with the right systems, and you need to line match. So it's going to be a coaching duel every time these teams meet, I find.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they're going to do coaching-wise. I don't know. We have a lot to marinate on before we get there. Let's keep going. Izzy Daniel and Gabby Rosenthal go to Vancouver next. What do you guys think of those two picks?
I like Izzy Daniel going to Vancouver.
I think we kind of expected Izzy Daniel to go. You were talking about her all morning, Bucks. You love that player.
Yeah, I know she's such a talented player. We saw her move up and down the Toronto roster throughout the year. You know, when talking about players that can kind of play with anybody, she's one of those players. But she definitely thrives with people that click at a pretty high rate and are pretty creatively gifted. So I'm excited to see her out there. I could see her clicking so well with Nursey, obviously with that Toronto connection, and just like shining. I think she's gonna build off of this year. There was a lot learned, and have herself a year in Vancouver.
I was going to say, I don't think she really got anywhere near her true potential this season. I think this past season was a massive feeling out process for her. And I think there is a lot more Izzy Daniel to come. And like you said, there's going to be, I mean, they drafted some players that I was like, I'd like to see her play with them. And then, Gabby Rosenthal, I was just like, I get it. There's a solid depth center for your team that is also pretty skilled and know what it is to train hard, work hard, mentally tough, throw her in any role. You got it. That's going to be executed. So New York lost a good one there in Gabby Rosenthal as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Two good pickups there by Seattle.
Vancouver, yeah.
Yeah,
I know. I did it last night. Remember when I did it last night. I was just like cross-eyed. I was like, this is so fast.
I know.
Yeah.
They're west. They're west out there. Seattle's next couple picks. Anna Wilgren and Meghan Carter rounding out Toronto's heartbreak. And with that pick, they were able to protect Emma Malte after that. I forgot to mention off the top, Boston early on in the expansion draft was able to protect Shea Maloney as their fourth protected player.
Yeah. This to me was like, okay, we got our top two lines sorted. We're going depth on D. And the fact that they picked up Anna Wilgren and Meghan Carter, I was like, whoa, there's you got a shutdown defender there in Meghan Carter, who, as I mentioned, I was so impressed how she just stepped in at the battle on Bay Street in front of 19,000 fans, her first game in the PW, and just skated in there seamlessly like it was no big thing. And it's not only just the fact that she was playing in front of all of those fans for the first time that she's played in front of a fan base that big, but the fact that the game didn't seem fast for her. The physicality was very casual and natural for her. And she just chose to play simple hockey. And I think that's just her DNA as a hockey player. It's just no moment's too big, no play is too big. This is how I play, and this is what you're getting consistently. And I think Seattle did a great job, even with Wilgren, building up their defensive depth.
I think people were a little bit nervous for Seattle's back end when, they just had Barnes signed there and Tayrosh taken, but, had all this offensive power. And for them to hit us with Wilgren and Carter, I was like, this team is stacked. I was like, now they got their back end locked in. They obviously have all that offensive prowl up front. And I'm like, I can't wait to see this out on the ice, this product.
Yeah. Vancouver rounds out their last two picks with Denisa Krisheva. I think at one point, I thought it was Shisheva. But
they say Shisheva on the broadcast, yeah.
Okay, I thought I was losing my mind last night. Anyways, but then I saw a video of her actually saying it with a K, so I think it slides both ways.
I think they Americanize it sometimes.
Yeah, and these are the things that I just lay in bed at night awake about, so
totally your life.
Yeah. Sydney Bard was their final pick of the expansion draft. Two really good pickups. Sydney Bard was floating around in circles all day. I felt like she was going to go at some point, and Krisheva makes sense too.
Yeah, and I mean, just having talked to a lot of the Minnesota players after their big win and the love that they have for this player, both on and off the ice.
Splitting up the checks on Minnesota is a very big issue. I know that Frost fans are upset about it, and the team is upset about it too.
And rightfully so. I mean, that's a player, and you're losing a good one. So what I like about her is how much she loves playing hockey. This kid loves playing hockey, and she loves everything about the league. She was so like honest and upfront about how much she loved playing in Minnesota, and obviously winning helps that. But I'm excited for a new beginning to see. I want to see her and Izzy Daniel on a line. I want to see what's going to happen there. If they can create some kind of offensive, I don't know, magic, if you will.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, what a player, what a pickup. A depth player as well for me for this team. Not a top liner, but she'll be contributing offensively consistently throughout the season.
For sure. And the final pick of the expansion draft was Seattle's, and they might have made my favorite pick of the draft with this one, just exclusively for the vibes. Because one of the most viral moments like of the PWHL season was Sue Bird posting Emily Brown in the penalty box during that Vancouver takeover tour game, and then Meghan Turner gets the memo, maybe even from Sue Bird herself. Like,
got a page.
Like, you have to get the bad girl on the squad.
If Boston just back-to-back loses 2 defenders, like it's like
end
Ottawa
the draft
started.
Too. So is that painful, more or less painful to you guys to start the draft that way or to end the draft? Like which is more painful?
There's already so many emotions. I feel like you're kind of numb by the end. You're like, yeah, just take them. You know,
just get out of here.
I'm done.
Yeah. 2 solid pickups for both teams. Emily Brown, the bad girl, they better be slinging that merch.
Yeah, wait, where's your t-shirt, Julia?
It's right here. You guys see it?
No, we don't.
Toss it up.
Oh, there it is. Bad girl.
Bad girl.
What you gonna do?
Buckles told me that Hillary Knight wore that shirt. I don't know if that's true or false, but
I just did it. I just did it to get Julia excited, probably.
Why would you say that now?
What you gonna do when Brown comes for you? They need to play that. If she gets a penalty there, they need to. Someone needs to make it.
Right.
Bad girl. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? When Brown
like some
comes
local
for you?
Seattle band should like a girl band should redo that
Totally.
with bad girls. I need to hear it. Seattle's such a good music city. They could totally make that happen.
100%.
Okay, just looking at the 12 players that these teams have on their rosters right now, do you want to start with like which team do you think actually did better at the expansion draft? You want to zoom in that close and then keep zooming out?
Sure. I feel like Seattle had a plan and knew exactly what they were doing and accomplished what they needed. And I felt like Vancouver has other plans, if that makes sense. Like they wanted to get depth, and then between signing of unsigned players, and maybe some trades, they're going to go after some big names, because to me, I don't see a first line on this team. I see all the like a lot of the offense coming from the defense, but maybe Vancouver was doing the same thing as Toronto and just going for skilled, hardworking forwards all across the line 1 through line 4. There is no set first line. We're just hard to play against. Yeah.
Dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs.
Dogs.
And I mean, you look at the NHL, just talk to Florida, how that works out for them, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they've got some identities forming, I guess, on both sides here. Holes to be filled, though, on both teams. What were your biggest surprises, I guess, from Monday night?
I thought a goalie was going to be snagged. I thought Seattle was for sure going to snag a goalie, like have a 1-2 with Corinne Schroeder, and I thought Reagan Kirk was going. But also how Kelly Panic is still safe blows my mind, and how Jamie Lee Rattray is still safe blows my mind. I feel like those are 2 players who love to play hockey and are pretty good contributors on their team in the roles that they play, and have proven time and time again they can play any role and play it better than anyone in the league. So those were my major standouts. Buck.
I think what was interesting and fun about the expansion draft was obviously there was only a max of 4 players that could be taken off of each of the inaugural 6 teams. And so I think I had a sense that Vancouver was looking maybe to grab a goalie, but then Toronto got maxed out with their 4 selected. So it kind of made for some fun things there. And yeah, obviously a lot of plans changed throughout this process, and who knows what's going to happen with unsigned players, because I have a feeling that Vancouver is about to have themselves a heyday.
Yeah. Let's hear from the GMs themselves, guys. We're very lucky to be joined by both of them. Seattle GM Meghan Turner and Vancouver's GM Cara Gardner Morey. We're going to hop on the Jocks and Jills podcast to talk about their work so far. All right, we're so lucky to get some time with Cara Gardner Morey, Vancouver's GM. It's been a wild week or so with the exclusive signing window, and then last night the expansion draft. Cara, first of all, can I just get a vibe check? Like, how has the last week been being you?
I haven't slept much, that's for sure. It's been exciting. It's been challenging. It's been fun. It's been crazy. Again, not a lot of sleep at night.
So this is your first time as a true GM. However, as a coach of an NCAA team, you do have to build your team and do the recruiting process as well. So you kind of had your hand in it, but there was a salary cap in play this time. How much of an effect did that have on, the way you were going about building your team and kind of your strategy?
Yeah, no, that affects it a lot. That's probably the biggest difference, and the time constraints versus having a lot of time to get to know like high school age recruits and their families and deciding on it. You have a lot less time to kind of do your research and figure things out about players behind the scenes. And then the salary cap was challenging. It's just one more thing, but also just the parameters around protections and 4 teams being off a team, then it changes your whole strategy. So that was kind of like being in a game where you had to kind of like pivot and make decisions on the fly.
Yeah, like how flexible did you have to be last night?
Pretty flexible. And we did like a dozen mock drafts and none of them ended up the same. So it was just like, it's very unpredictable, right? Because you just have no idea who they're thinking of. And you can assume you all have like the same kind of players, but it didn't. And there was some like turns throughout the night that I was like, oh. So yeah, it's pretty unpredictable.
How did you guys come to the decision to draft Ashton Bell first overall in the first ever PWHL expansion draft?
Well, first of all, she's a phenomenal player that was out there and eligible. I think that defense matters a lot to me and probably to everybody. And if you speak to Ashton Bell, she's as phenomenal away from the ice as she is on the ice, and a great leader. And to me, that was just like solidifying the D leadership core. And if we had the chance to lock that in with a player and a human being like Ashton Bell, then it's a no-brainer.
It really does feel like there was a big emphasis on the human being here when you've put together the core of this roster. What were the intangibles you were looking for when you were targeting players?
Leadership, humility. Like a lot of these players are super humble when they're some of the best players in the league, and just they really care about their teammates and they care about the bigger picture, and they're competitive and they want to win. But they're the type of players that like you definitely want leading the charge of this franchise. And that was a huge factor. And it helped that they were all Olympic gold medalists. So they've been there before and they know what it takes to win. But you'd see the personalities. And that was one of the luxuries. Like, it's hard to come in as a brand new GM, but the luxury is, I've worked with a lot of these athletes before, so I do know them behind the scenes. And to me, establishing the culture right away with a brand new franchise was critical.
Yeah, I mean, you got Brooke McQuaig, Gabby Boreen, Izzy Daniel, Gabby Rosenthal, Denisha Krishova, like Sydney Bard that you took. And I feel like, was there a moment through all of this when you were like, we're going to build 4 solid lines that are just going to be a pain in the butt to play against, and teams are going to just dread coming to Vancouver or welcoming us into the barn? Or what was the vision in all of this?
Well, you just said it. Like, that was exactly it. If you look, we might not necessarily look like top heavy right now, but it's going to be a really tough team to play against. Like, I think that we really went with a lot of depth and a lot of players that were almost undervalued in a way. So it's going to be really hard because all the way through the lineup, there's not going to be a weakness. There's not going to be like a line matching where they can go, okay, great. Because, when I assemble this roster, our 4th line could be as threatening as our 1st line at times. And there's going to be no easy way to get into our D zone.
Yeah, we know pro sports is kind of a copycat league. Is that the Minnesota Frost influence? Kind of feels like you're kind of just describing the way they're made up.
And taking 2 of their best defenders at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I think we took 4 of their players in this expansion draft.
You did.
So, like, listen, it's no secret that you take champions, people who know how to get it done, and people who win. I didn't know, like, of course, when I watched the games in the playoffs, they are deep all the way through their net where they had 2 goalies that could go on any day. And truthfully, I do think, and we'll see, that's how championships are won, because you need to have like great goaltending, depth on defense, and then depth throughout the whole lineup. I don't know that this is a league where you can run with just like 2 top lines and hope for the best. You like you said, Tessa, this is a team that they're not going to want to play because it's going to be so hard for the opponent every single night.
And then defender to defender here. Can we just talk about the offense from the defense that she got going on?
Yeah.
I mean, this is looking real good.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So yeah, I went with defense, but there's clearly a certain style to this defense, and there's going to be no lack of like scoring coming from our team just because I focused on the defenders first. Like they're like 4th and 5th forwards at times. So, and some of the forwards we got are like, some extra D. So I think it's just going to be a really interchangeable roster where the head coach can be very creative with the style of play because they are very, very transferable athletes. Like Ashton Bell was forward most of her career and then switched back to D in college. So and Claire Thompson actually was a center when we recruited her and also converted to D. So I think it's going to be a pretty fun team to watch because you can be so creative with changing of positions and space on ice.
Are you kind of starting to get a sense of what kind of person you want behind the bench in seeing this roster shape up?
Well, I always knew the kind of person I want behind the bench. The value systems are critically important. It's just making sure that like I'm really thorough that like kind of style of play and creativity is valued because I don't want to build a roster that then doesn't fit with that coach's style. So that's really the piece that to me becomes the most important because the person they are is non-negotiable.
Absolutely. Next thing on the calendar, Cara, is the for the roster building process is the signing window for players on expiring contracts that opens June 16th. How are you starting to look ahead and prepare for that?
Yeah, well, we saved a lot of money. So, I mean, that's the next step, right? This is a 4-part process, and that was phase 2 of 4. So you have to know that there's big plans in place. And truthfully, now I go out and then I recruit and try to sell and try to get, the players we want to kind of round out this before heading into the entry draft.
I kind of want to leave with this thought, Julia. Have you even like looked at the draft yet, or are you going to build what's here and then try and fill in the holes with the draft?
Well, Tessa, I feel like I know most of the players pretty well since I've coached against almost all of them for 4 years. So I've glanced at lists, but it's like there's a lot of familiarity. I'm like, oh, yep. So I feel like, there's still going to be a lot of strategy and planning, but I do think that obviously you kind of get an idea in the first couple rounds of players you would really want. So like you're kind of taking both into account. But in the end, it's important to get, some good players on expiring contracts during that signing window and then enter into the draft and see maybe what you're missing.
Yeah. Okay. So lots of dominoes still to fall, but 12 players officially on your roster now. Exciting times in Vancouver and in the PWHL. Appreciate you, Cara, taking the time to join us here on Jocks and Jills.
Thanks, guys. Keep up the good work.
Thanks Appreciate very much.
All right, that was awesome. We just heard from Vancouver GM Cara Gardner Morey. Heard her takes on how the expansion draft went, so it's only fair that we get Seattle's GM, Meghan Turner, hockey mind extraordinaire. I like to think, Meghan, that you kind of had a bit more of insight into the league and what it's going to take to make a team successful. And I felt like you had a pretty good plan laid out as to what you wanted to build through the signing period as well in the draft. So first of all, just what are your feelings after getting all of that done? Where are we at? How are we feeling?
Feeling good. A little bit of relief, a bit of excitement. Just feeling great about the group that we have. Like you said, I wanted to get some leaders in place. I wanted to get some younger players as well. And I feel like we did that. I feel like we stuck to the strategy pretty well. So I feel good about it.
Yeah. When you came on to chat with us on the live feed, you had this card in front of you and it had your top 2 lines and your D pairings laid out be honest. I know Hannah Bilka was a massive part of that top line that you wanted. When you saw Vancouver had the first pick, were you holding your breath and praying to whatever God is out there that they did not pick Hannah Bilka?
Yes, but I had a feeling that Ashton Bell would go.
Really?
I did. Through, just the conversations and the signing period and how everything was going, and I knew they were trying to build out their decor. They clearly are prioritizing getting a really strong, rock solid D, and so I expected Ashton to go first. But there was always that bit of me that was like, yeah, please don't take Bilka. I really want to finish up that first line.
Was there a backup plan if they did?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
There's a backup plan, but there's you plan for things and things change. So
Yeah.
there was a backup plan, but we didn't plan too much where I felt like we were inflexible with anything.
And then I felt like you were toying with us viewers, everyone just holding on to their seats, white knuckling it. You announced Aneta Teralova first. Was that on purpose? Were you just playing with us there?
I can't give away my secrets. No, I don't know, actually. It was part of it was just in line with the strategy in terms of some of the rules.
Yep.
And making sure that I felt like we were setting ourselves up for success later on in the draft in terms of who would pick up. But I figured that was not going to be what people expected. I think people were like, Hannah Bilka's going to get signed in the early period, and then they thought she was going to go first. And so I just was keeping people on the string there for a bit, but we got it done. So.
Fair enough. And then you were quick to build out that second line of yours, which I always liked the way Boston was built. You're assistant GM with Boston, and I felt like that team was playoff ready with size and grit. And the second line, I'm going to assume that you had lined up here with Julia Gosling, Danielle Serdachny, and Jessie Eldridge is just size with speed and skill. Was that the plan there? And like, were you salivating at the bit just to be able to name those players?
Yes, I think when I built out my depth chart, like with salary cap as well, as a big consideration with everything, that was the second line, and we were able to make it happen. So yeah, I had a big smile on my face after I was able to lock those two in because a lot of size in that line, a lot of power. Really excited about it.
And then obviously there were moments of, you're unsure because you don't know essentially who Vancouver's going to take with the snake. They get back-to-back picks, and which might lock out a team because they might lose 4 players. So did you have to make many pivots throughout the remainder of the draft?
Yeah. Well, to start, they took, a D that was one of the best too. So I though I had expected that, I was hoping we might be able to find a way to get Ashton to Seattle. But yeah, there were some pivots here and there. But and a lot of it had to do actually more so with the how teams were becoming locked up. So when teams would have the 4, there were still players left that were technically eligible, that were, really good players, but we didn't have access to them anymore because, the team had lost 4 players already. So that was, I think, the biggest factor that impacted our strategy.
Yeah, for myself, I was relatively surprised that no one took a backup goaltender. Was that in your plans, or were you just like, no, we'll look at free agency and the draft?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of options for goaltenders. So we went into it looking at just the level of play up front on the forwards and D. Not obviously a knock on any of the great goaltenders in the draft, but we're certainly prioritizing getting our forwards and D first, and know that we have some great options too in free agency and the entry draft as well.
Yeah. And then next up, you have this signing period where the players that are currently on expiring contracts are not under contract at all. What's left for you? I mean, you have the bottom half of, I feel like your decor looks pretty solid. players that you're familiar with as well. And obviously you've seen a lot of these player plays in Meghan Carter as well that you swooped up, which is a solid pick, by the way. So what's going to be your main focus through the remainder of the signing period and the draft?
Yeah, I think we need to, like, depth is super important. Can't win with just two lines. We need some righties on defense.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily need them, but it's a good thing to have some balance. We took a lot of lefties, so will be good to try to get some righties from that perspective. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. We can make do, but obviously need to build out the depth in our roster and get a goalie as well. So we'll be looking to make sure that we can fill out those where we feel comfortable that we can roll 3-4 lines.
Yeah. And then I know you're a whiz when it comes to salary and what players to take, but I feel like there has been a lot on your plate in terms of the expansion signing period exclusive to the 2 expansion teams, and then the draft, and then now players under contract signing, and then there's the draft. Have you even had a moment just to take a breath and take a look at some of the players that will be available in the draft?
Yeah, definitely. I think, it plays into the expansion strategy too, because you have to know what's available in the entry draft and how you can kind of fill some of the gaps. So definitely need to do more work on the entry draft. I was focusing kind of one step ahead in the expansion draft, but Dave and Caitlin have been really, really helpful in helping me and kind of offloading some of that for now. So to help me focus on some other things too concurrently, but certainly have a grip on what's upcoming, but we'll be doing a lot of video, much more on a video in the next few weeks.
Busy times. And then lastly, I just want to leave your fan base with a little something. I feel like as you were drafting and just looking at what you've got going on right now, and then your experience, you were with the Boston PWHL team in the inaugural season when they made it to the finals. I felt like you were a very well-built playoff team this season and missed based on regulation wins. But building this team, is it a win now team, or is it a let's develop and see what happens in the next couple of years?
I think it's a win now team.
Yeah.
I just with the roster we have already. I want it. I know they want it. They're hungry for it. This league is still growing too. So I would love to get one under the belt as soon as we can.
Nice. Going up against your buddy and Danielle Marmer as well.
Yeah.
Head-to-head GMs. You guys just go head-to-head on the ice. So it'll be interesting to see when your 2 teams face off for the first time. Meghan, I know you're crazy busy. We just wanted to thank you so much for coming on and chatting, and best of luck in this upcoming season and with the remainder signing period and the draft.
Yeah, thanks, Tess. I appreciate it. Thanks for everything you did yesterday as well during the draft.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Thank you very much to both of those GMs. So kind of them to take time out of their insane schedules and building whole professional women's hockey team schedules to hop on the pod with us and entertain us and entertain you guys. Very kind of them. Let's get to what exactly is going on next on the calendar here on the roster building process. The signing window for players on expiring contracts opens June 16th at 9 a.m. That is on Monday. There is a whole bunch of great players available on expiring contracts. Like some of the names I wrote: Tapani, Saunier, Gia, Flanagan, Confer, Miller, Skmira, Rose, Darkangelo, Vasco, Leslie, Downey, Landry, Keppel, Tabin, Shepers, Kava, Venisheva, Channel Watkins, Chula. There's so many great players available on expiring contracts. I think that should comfort fans of inaugural 6 PWHL teams as well, because I know that they lost players, but also now they have a little bit more room to re-sign some of these players on expiring contracts.
You can snag a stud.
Yeah, you absolutely can.
Or two.
Or two.
Three.
Or three. Tessa, you're actually a great matchmaker. Some people don't know this about you. You low-key put together couples. I know of a couple couples that you've put together.
Okay.
Don't you you're always setting people up on dates? It's something that I think of when I'm thinking of you. Anyways, you did some matchmaking.
I was set up with my husband.
Yes, I know that.
So for teams, they're obviously going to be looking, okay, what did we lose and what do we need to gain? So for Boston, you lost a heck of a lot of scoring and Hannah Bilka and Hillary Knight. So there goes a large chunk of your first line. But then it's like, okay, how do we make a new look first line? So it's like, all right, we promised to protect Alina Mueller. We absolutely have to make sure we get Susanna Tapani back. And let's bring in Chloe Arard, because Chloe Arard loves playing with Alina Mueller. And they've proven to be successful together. So they're going to have to go hard for me after those two players. Teresa Schaffsal, I think, is very important for this team to get back. And obviously they lost a defender. So they're gonna have to go after Sydney Moore and keep her, because fantastic player. I like the way this kid plays and is obviously familiar, and I think can step up and be a big part of this this back end moving forward.
Yeah. Love that. Any other good matches you see in the league here?
I think every team that lost a solid defender is going to go after Melissa Channel Watkins.
They should be. They still
I feel like she's the biggest D in
100%.
the signing period right now.
Yeah.
Who offensively do you think is the biggest fish here?
Michaela Cava, Tapani, off the top of my head, Hannah Miller, Natalie Spooner.
I think lots of eyes are on Hannah Miller right now, especially with the way that Vancouver drafted in the expansion draft. It feels like they left holes. And I was saying to Buckles last night, like, you guys know, I tell you all the time, I follow Hannah Miller and her girlfriend. I see their food reviews. They've all been coming out of Peachland, BC recently. So that just feels like it's coming down the wire at some point. The Pastries have stopped being in Toronto.
Yeah.
Bound to happen.
For like Montreal, I think there's going to be a lot of push to sign some. I would like to see them chase Michaela Cava. I want to see Michaela Cava play with Pooh.
That would be so
force
sick.
The Canadian national team's hand.
100%. Absolutely, you do. Absolutely. And Michaela Cava's proven she can play with Heisey and Coyne Schofield. All right. Hey, want to come try play over here? Wicked City. Awesome players to play with. It's like, all right, cool. Let's go try that. Why not? The only thing that I think Michaela Cava that she'll honestly listen to an offer from Minnesota, one, she owes it to them. She's back-to-back champ there, but two, it's close to her hometown in Thunder Bay, Ontario, home of Julia Teixeira. And I think that might play a part in it. But listen, she's lived and played everywhere in the world, so she ain't shy of traveling.
Exactly. Like, she talked to us about like working in a grocery store in Sweden and like she's been in Toronto before. Like she's thinking
about where she's gonna win her next Walter Cup. She's gonna keep that streak going. So
like, how many years in a row has she been a champ now? Like
8 million.
6 or so. Yeah, she's not going to want to lose that streak now. Yeah, for sure. What should Minnesota focus on, though?
Yeah, I want to see Minnesota go after Jessie Compher. I feel like she could be a good addition to them. I think a Cheyenne Darkangelo will be another depth, but I want to see also Maggie Connors get a sniff on an American squad playing with some American players.
Oh,
hear me out.
Yeah.
Hear me out. I think it's a slam dunk. Maggie Connors is going to Vancouver.
Whoa, do you know?
Why?
That Princeton connection, get her back with Thompson, knows the GM pretty well. They had an unbelievable team that I had to play against for many years in the ECAC. And I think they know what Maggie's capable of, and will give her those opportunities to absolutely thrive there.
Oh, I like that, Buckles. Like that.
Interesting. You heard it here first.
What about your former squad in Ottawa? What do they got to
They absolutely have to get Venisheva back.
They need her.
Absolutely. I wouldn't even mind seeing Maggie Connors go there, but they need to replenish their back end. So they already know what Zoe Boyd can do for them. They're familiar. I think you get Zoe Boyd back for the depth. Maybe go after Callie Flanagan. But I think they do need a solid backup. Abby Levy's out there, unsigned. Emma Soderberg's out there, unsigned. I don't know if they're looking at the draft, because there are a few goaltenders in the draft that are pretty good that could, use a season to train behind Gwyneth Phillips and get used to the pace of play in the league. But those are my top things. Replenish your back end big time.
Yeah. New York or in Toronto to round things out here?
I think Toronto's got to get Hannah Miller back. I think
after I just made
that's fine. It's okay. We can have our own thoughts and ideas. I think Vancouver has enough players that are like Hannah Miller. I don't know that I would have Hannah Miller on my top line per se. I think she's my solid second liner that like rounds out that second line to be just lethal. Vancouver needs to get some big names. So I have Toronto absolutely making sure they get Hannah Miller back, taking a run at Maggie Connors. I want to see Toronto try and get Teresa Schaffsell too.
Ooh.
I think it's a different look type player. I like the way she plays. She got spunk. She played a pretty good role in Boston. And obviously Toronto's priority is going to be getting Spooner back as well. Hopefully Spooner can have a solid third season for them, with an extra off season to recover that knee and strengthen everything.
A full healthy year. I think Spoons will be ready to go to kind of claim that goal scoring title again.
And then just quickly to go through New York, I want to see New York chase Tapani harder than anyone they've ever chased. They need goals. They got to get Jade Downey Landry back. I want to see them get depth with Liz Sheppers, and they need another goalie. So are you signing Abby Levy back, who you're familiar with? You going after Emma Soderberg? You drafting in the draft? I don't know, but I want to see New York go after Tap
or Clara Peshlarova. She obviously had some really good glimmers in Boston, and that I think that that player has earned herself a starting position in this league.
Yeah, Habstrider's up too, and she's never gotten a sniff. Like, because Montreal has such a good one too. But I honestly think she could play in this league. So
much fun about
goalies out there. Lots of fun to be had. To come. Those are our thoughts on the signing window for players on expiring contracts. Again, that opens June 16th at 9 a.m. After that, we roll right into the draft in Ottawa on June 24th, and then the awards the following day. It's a matinee little brunch, and that'll put a bow kind of on this season. I know, still lots to happen. We'll still have lots to talk about every Wednesday. Still a little bit more to talk about on this episode. You heard us during our live episodes during the PWHL postseason and the PWHL finals. We talked a lot about the Princess Margaret Road Hockey to Conquer Cancer. We've said that Blayre Turnbull is going to be one of the draftable celebrities in attendance. And we're very lucky to have her on the pod too. So here's Blayre Turnbull. We're going to talk about Princess Margaret. Okay, we're so pumped to be joined by Toronto Scepter's captain, Blayre Turnbull, who is one of the draftable celebrities for the Princess Margaret Road Hockey to Conquer Cancer on September 27th, 2025 at the Vaughan Metropolitan Center. If you guys want to sign up, you could use the promo code PWHL. It's just the league name, PWHL. You can get 50% off your team's registration fee if you head to roadhockeytoconquercancer.ca. Blayre, we're also going to be draftable celebrities, like not to like set up a pregame fight or anything like that.
No, we're for sure getting after it.
I love playing road hockey as a kid, Blayre. Like, what were you doing out in Nova Scotia? Were you playing lots of road hockey? Were you that like rough and tumble kid?
Oh yeah, every day. I think the rule in our house was we had to finish our homework. And then once our homework was done, we were outside knocking on all our neighbors' doors to collect as many kids as possible to see who wanted to play road hockey with us on any given day. And I when I think back to being a little kid, I honestly think every chance that we had to play road hockey, we were outside playing.
Did you guys do sticks in the middle? Was it sticks in the middle or was it like captain select teams?
Sticks in the middle. Yeah, usually. And the odd time you had to go take your turn in net, but most of the time it was just sticks in the middle and made the best team win.
So it's going to be a draft for celebrities. So teams are going to be able to select celebs. So if you had to pitch your scouting report, your ball hockey scouting report to these fundraisers, what would it be? Why should Blayre Turnbull be picked before, I don't know, Julia and Tessa?
You're going to have to pitch pretty hard.
Well, I did just order some new like stick handling equipment. So I got some road hockey balls delivered to my house the other day. So I'll be practicing a lot leading up to the event. I don't know if you guys are that ambitious or not, but I think you guys might be too busy podcasting.
Yeah, I'll be running myself through some dry land for sure. I don't want to let the team down. I'll be running myself through some dry land. I'll try to get out on the rink a few times, so I don't let the squad down. We know Princess Margaret does such amazing work, like not just in the Greater Toronto area, but across the country. Blayre, like, what does being involved with that organization mean to you? Why is it important to you?
Well, it means a lot. I think every single person is affected by cancer one way or another. I know for me, my mom passed away from cancer when I was 15. So that's a huge reason why I wanted to do this. And then obviously this year with Howie going through her journey with breast cancer, it just really spoke to me as an event and as a cause that really means a lot to me and to my friends, my family. And I think the Princess Margaret Centre does such an amazing job, not only for the patients local here in Toronto, but their research helps everybody across the country. So it's a really great thing that they have going, and I'm really proud to be connected with them.
Yeah, it's truly an amazing organization. Everything raised helps fund cancer breakthroughs and early detection, innovative therapies, and comprehensive support. So it's an incredible event. Fueled by Longos, again, it's the world's largest street hockey fundraiser. They actually have the record for the largest street hockey fundraiser. Have you ever been? Is this your first time, Blayre? I'm forgetting. Have you been up?
Yeah, this is my first time. But first time. But after reading like everything that they did in the past, like last year they raised over $3 million. Like, I don't think there's another road hockey event in the world that's raising over $3 million. So it's pretty incredible, and I'm really excited to get out there this year.
Yeah, I'm pumped too, and I hope we have the elbows up against one another, Blayre. It'd really be an honor if we got to like drop the gloves or something. I don't know. We'll discuss. But again, guys, if you would like to register for the Princess Margaret Road Hockey to Conquer Cancer, fueled by Longos, you could go to roadhockeytoconquercancer.ca. You can get 50% off your team's registration fee using the promo code PWHL. There's going to be lots of draftable celebrities there. We've got Blayre Turnbull here. Her teammate Renata Fast is going to be there. There's going to be some NHL alumni, Olympians. Tess is an Olympian, guys, in case you forgot. She doesn't just host the Jackson Jills podcast.
And I play roller hockey on Wednesdays.
Yeah, she actually is going to be really well versed. You can't bring your rollerblades and skate over everyone's toes. That would be cheating, but it would be really on brand. Again, guys, if you want to register, go to roadhockeytoconquercancer.ca. Use the promo code PWHL. We will see you at the Vaughan Metropolitan Center on September 27th, 2025. Okay, thank you so much, Blayre. Appreciate you. Honestly, pumped to play some road hockey come September.
That is also another great part of summer is like you're outside ripping road hockey, and like some of us may or may not be schooling neighborhood kids. Not sure. However,
I'm from the country. I didn't really get that experience. Of
really?
Like, yeah, because my driveway is like freaking kilometer long. We could have played driveway hockey.
That's cool too, though.
But then it was just me and my sister like punching one another. So there was only two of us. I don't know. Country kids have a different experience, I guess.
100%.
Yeah, we would go into town to play. I was just going to admit that I learned to rollerblade like in the cemetery that was down the street from my house.
That's where I take my kids to ride their bikes.
It's the best. Okay, this is a safe space. This is a safe space.
It is.
Yeah, I learned to ride my bike and rollerblade in the cemetery too. It's always paved really well, and there's never really.
It's so nice. The pavement is
perfect.
Glorious.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in this week. So much happened over the last week.
We'll so much to come, Julia.
Yeah. So Monday, that window for players on expiring contracts is going to open, and we're going to drop an episode on Wednesday. I don't know if we'll have any signings to announce.
It'll be interesting to see if the teams. So I don't know if expansion teams are going to be able to take a kick at the cat at these players first. I feel like there's going to be a window where the original 6 teams are going to get a crack at all of these remaining players first.
Right. It
just makes sense to me. That just feels fair, if that makes sense. And fair isn't always equal, but I feel like that's what would make sense. Again, I have no idea. I have no insight. That's all on hockey ops at the league. But it'll be interesting to see, because if they open it up to all 8 teams, oh my gosh, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah. And those teams out west will get even heavier than they look already.
Yeah.
So many exciting times, guys. Make sure you get outside, enjoy the weather a little bit in between posting your memes, panicking about your PWHL team, or being really excited about your new PWHL team in your city. Whichever one of those 2 things you're doing, make sure you get outside. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy the off season. Thank you guys all for listening. Thank you for tuning into the expansion draft as well. That was really fun. Tess and I were there ripping up picks, being like, "Oh, the pick is in. We're getting the word in our ear." We always wear IFBs, but for some reason last night I would like touch my IFB to be like, "Oh, the pick is in." I can hear properly. Like
pop fairy twinkle.
Oh yeah, that was a good sound. We should use that. Actually, I got to send Jackie that sound so we can end the podcast on a pop fairy twinkle. We love you guys. Love our sponsors to CCM, everybody at the PWHL for helping us put this on. We love you guys, and we love all of you for listening. We will talk to you next Wednesday.